What's up, IFBB, AMA fans and followers? We are back for another video. Xavier Wills here, and we're going to give I'm going to give my top 10 Mr. Olympia predictions at 8 weeks out of the 2025 Mr. Olympia. I'm going to give you a top 12 though, because two of those guys may not be able to show up at this contest, being Iranian citizens, and obviously trying to travel to the US right now is a little hard, but we're going to go through it. I'm going to break it down from 12th up to 1st, and if those two Iranians don't make it, in Hadi Choopan and Behrouz Tabani, who I do have, surprise, surprise, placing inside that top 12. So let's get to it. And in 12th place, I have Rubiel Mosquera, aka Neckzilla, as he's more commonly known by. Now, these are his latest physique updates posted recently. Now, Neckzilla is not a guy that's known particularly for being in condition, although what he's actually brought to the stage many times has actually been pretty decent in terms of conditioning levels. I did hear Brown Ansley on the Cutler podcast, Cutlercast race recently with Jay Cutler, and he said, Rubiel likes his food, and he's been around Rubiel as well. I think they're both sponsored by Panada, I believe. So it leads me to believe that, I think they're trained together a bit as well, that Rubiel maybe sometimes doesn't lock in 100%. People question his motivations. Is he fully motivated as much as some of these other guys that are prepping? Now, looking at these physique updates at maybe 8.5 weeks out here, it doesn't look like he's ultra conditioned at this point compared to some of these other competitors. Now, in 11th place, I have Brett the Butcher Wilkin. Big fan of his, and I think he can bring something special to the stage this year in his Olympia debut. Now, he's qualified for the Olympia before. He had some gut issues, had to pull out of a contest. So this is his official Olympia debut. 2 years in a row, he qualified early for the contest. He actually qualified prior to the 2024 Mr. Olympia, I believe, at the Legion Sports Fest, where he beat Bruno Santos. And you can see his latest updates at 8 weeks out here on the screen right now. In 10th place, I have Tonio Burton. Tonio, for me this year, I thought he looked absolutely phenomenal, like cut inside out, looked really, really good. And Tonio, with that little bit extra muscle and the way he's looking right now at, 8-9 weeks out, I think he's in a good position to come in better than he came in at the earlier shows. In 9th place, I have Behrouz Tabani. Some people saying this guy can be a top 5 guy in the Olympia. Behrouz has a phenomenal upper body. Great, overall physique from the side as well, because the hamstrings drop. Missing a little in the quads, which could hurt him in an Olympia type lineup, which I think would knock him back a few positions. With full round quads, he can be up there battling in the top 3 or the top 5 at least, But I think he's just going to be held back a little bit by that quad size. Can he improve that? For sure. And if he can do that, then he can definitely be up inside that top 5. And he does have a crazy structure, a small waist, and he does like balloon out and have some very impressive body parts too. So Behrouz Tabani in an Olympia debut, if he does make it, I have him inside the top 10. Brandon Curry. Now, he brought something really good earlier this year at the Arnold Classic. Now, he was very comparable in that top 4, which sort of shocked me. Like Derek Lunsford, the winner. You can see the photos here on screen where Brandon Curry's on the far right. He looks really good in that Arnold Classic first call out. So if Brandon Curry can repeat something like that physique, he's going to well and truly be up in, I think, that top 7 or top 6. But can he repeat that physique? Because at the Olympia last year, he wasn't at his very best. And I think he looked so good going into that Arnold Classic because he was coming into that prep already quite big under the guidance, I believe it was of Justin Harris, who's his new coach. And I hope he can repeat it. He's looking pretty good. We haven't seen too many physique updates or anything. You can see this training footage here where he looks round and bubbly and still quite big, but it's going to come down to if he can bring that same level that he brought to the Arnold Classic earlier this year, or maybe even better in his 40s. So anyway, Brandon Curry I have in 8th. In 7th place, I have Vitaly Ugolnikov, aka Good Vito. Now, he hasn't posted much in terms of physique updates. It looks like he's still doing the Olympia based off this one update that I saw 4 days ago. 6th place, I have Martin Fitzwater, the Martian. Martin, I'm guessing would probably be disappointed with a 6th place this year at the Olympia based on the fact that he came 4th last year. Now, 4th last year, a little bit of a different lineup. There was no Nick Walker. Nick Walker did beat him at the Pittsburgh Pro. Martin wasn't at his best though. And people are like, oh, Martin's done. I'm like, but dude came 4th last year. It's about the peak. If Martin can nail his peak which he hasn't done the last couple of times so much because he did do that Prague Pro last year, missed it at prejudging at least, nearly left the door open for C-Bum to potentially get an open win. But the thing is about Martin, if he does nail that peak like he did at the Olympia last year, still working with the same coach, Stefan, boss of Outlaw, if he can do that, he can push well and truly up and, hopefully challenge that top 4 once again. And I think if he does that in this lineup, that's another huge achievement. And I think that will get people going, okay, Martin just missed the mark a little bit at Pittsburgh. In 5th place, I have Andrew Jacked Shidaju Obiaki. That's his actual name, I believe. Andrew is looking absolutely enormous. And that's what Andrew needs to do, working with Chris Aceto. He needs to get bigger, bring it down to that right level where he's not, that Arnold Classic a few years ago where he came in too shredded, and he's not like a out of condition guy like he was when he qualified a little bit earlier this year after the Arnold Classic, where he looked quite good at that Arnold Classic as well, placing in 3rd position behind Samson Dauda and Derek Lunsford. So if he can nail that peak for the Olympia for once, Andrew Jacked, if he can do that, nail it like he's nailed it at the Texas Pro the last few years with the added mass, I think Andrew Jacked can do very, very well. And now's the time for Andrew Jacked. Andrew really needs to get a top 4 position here to really, I think, give himself a chance then to go at the Olympia next year and have a go at actually trying to win that contest. So can Andrew Jacked actually do it and shock everyone? He is the one guy that people aren't talking about that much that could shock the entire lineup and win. Nick Walker, he is one that's going to be going for it because he's arguably the man who could have or should have won the Pittsburgh Pro this year against Derek Lunsford. Made a phenomenal return to the stage. He went on to win New York, hands down, easily. Nick looked phenomenal earlier this year. He nailed his peak. I think he looked better in Pittsburgh than New York, being fully transparent there. So if he can nail New York again at the Olympia, would that put him above Derek Lunsford? Different judges? Maybe, because it wasn't a clean-cut decision. It wasn't unanimous, but Derek Lunsford won that contest. So Nick Walker will be coming all out for this show. He is enormous at the moment, and he's going to be a guy that's hard to beat in this lineup. Just freaky, freaky mass. Now, I'm into the more aesthetic guys in terms of physique, the shape and all that, but Nick Walker brings something different to the stage and something that can pop and stand out. And when you're looking at him on stage, he stands out. So Nick Walker, I have in 4th place, but with the potential to really push up into that top 3 once again, because he's been top 3 in the Olympia before. Now, Derek Lunsford, I have in 3rd place here, but I was tempted to put Nick Walker one spot ahead. The reason I didn't is because the judges still preferred Derek Lunsford at the Pittsburgh Pro, and that was a mildly off version of Derek Lunsford compared to what he brought earlier in the year at the Arnold Classic, which he won against Samson Dauda, who's your reigning Mr. Olympia. So Derek Lunsford, to put him any lower than 3rd would feel silly, unless you're thinking he's done 3 preps this year now. This is his 3rd one. So he might be getting tired. So he did the Arnold Classic, which he won $600,000. He did the Pittsburgh Pro, which he won another $100,000. So he's already up to 700. Was it 600 at the Arnold or 500? No, 500. So he's at 600 now. So then if he goes on to win the Olympia, he's at 1.2 million US that he'd have in prize money for the year. But I don't believe he will do that. Can he do it? Absolutely, he can. In 2nd place, if he makes it, and maybe a guy that is the freshest, well, a guy who is the freshest, in Hadi Choopan, coming from Iran. The dude just always comes in on. But I think he's definitely got more chance to get in than Beirut Tabani has, because Hardy's been here before. He's got a US-based sponsor. He's never been a threat in the past. I think Hardy will get in. Well, I hope Hardy will get in. And in 1st place, I have Samson Dauda. Samson's training with Quinton Araya, which is really, really cool to see. 2 guys that competed together many, many years ago. Samson's gone on to win Mr. Olympia. It's been a slower burn for Quinton. Quinton, though, is much younger, has the tight waist, the crazy shape and everything. So I think Quinton's going to emulate potentially what Samson Dauda's done. And, maybe Samson, based on my predictions, becoming a 2-time Mr. Olympia. Samson looks phenomenal now. He's looking like an absolute mutant, not to steal Nick Walker's moniker, but Samson, if he can bring it, we said that about the Arnold. He missed his peak of prejudging. We said if he brings it, no one's beating him. I still believe that. What that, I suppose, entails for Samson is keeping that waist really, really nice and tight, bringing in the same level of conditioning that he brought to the Olympia last year, if not slightly better. And if he can do that, because he's focusing on condition, he said that, weeks ago in his prep on his Instagram story. If he can do that, I think he'll take the 2025 Mr. Olympia. So that's my early bold predictions for the 2025 Mr. Olympia. Let me know where you think I got it wrong. Let me know where you think I got it right, and give me your opinions. Anyway, guys, that's it for this one. My name is Xavier Wills. This is IFBB AMA, and we are out.